Today I'm going to be profiling and talking about one of the most awesome tag teams of all time. They were real life brothers. Collectively, they were known as Harlem Heat. So let's get right down to the uh, the background story. So Harlem Heat was a professional wrestling tag team composed of two brothers, and I'm inserting real life brothers, Booker and Lash Huffman, better known as Booker T and Stevie Ray. The team achieved their greatest success in World Championship Wrestling, or WCW, where they won the WCW World Tag Team Championship a record 10 times. Kevin Powers of WWE remarked, quote, when debating the greatest tag team in WWC history, Harlem Heat and the Steiner brothers are more or less interchangeable. So, exactly how did these two young men get started? Well, I do know that they're from New York City, or from Texas, rather. They're from Texas. So, let's get down to it. First, they entered the World Wrestling Alliance from the years 1989 to 1991. Booker T and Stevie Ray started to team together as the Huffman Brothers and Ivan Putski's Western Wrestling Alliance after a brief feud with each other. Soon after, the WWA ceased operating and the brothers started touring the Texas independent circuit. From there, they went to what was known as the GWF, or the Global Wrestling Federation, from 1992 to 1993. The Huffman brothers caught the eye of Skandor Akbar, who was involved with the Global Wrestling Federation out of Texas in 1992. The brothers were repackaged as the Ebony Experience and quickly rose through the ranks of GWF Tag Team Division under the guidance of Gary Hart, defeating Skandor Akbar's Goodfellows, Gorgeous Gary Young, and Steve Dane for the GWF Tag Team Championship on July 31, 1992. Their first run with the GWF Tag Team lasted only a week before they were defeated by the Blackbirds, Iceman King Parsons, and Action Jackson. Booker and Stevie Ray made a comeback and defeated the Cheating Birds in September. The second run with the title lasted a bit longer than a week, but was ultimately short-lived as the Rough Riders, Black Bart and Johnny Mantell, won the gold on October 23. The title loss was forced due to Booker T suffered a knee injury that needed surgery and time off to recover. In early 1993, the Ebony Experience returned to action and started to chase the Bad Breed, Axel Rotten and Ivan Rotten, who had won the titles while Booker T recovered. On February 26, the Ebony Experience won their third GWF Tag Team Championship, becoming the only team to hold that title 3 times. Their third run with the title proved to be their longest, as they held them until May 7, where Guido Falcone and Vito Mascaloni, known as the Sicilian Brothers or Sicilian Stallions, defeated them for the titles. Not long after this, Booker T and Stevie Ray left the GWF, having signed with World Championship Wrestling. And they were in the World Championship Wrestling, the WCW. Let's talk about their early years from 1993 to 1994. On January 22nd, 1993, the two brothers debuted in WCW as the tag team Harlem Heat, with Booker renamed Cole and Lash renamed Kane. They would then build from Harlem. Originally, they were supposed to be a pair of wrestling slaves. What the hell? One in a card game by manager Colonel Rob Parker, but was changed due to racial sensitivity. You damn right it should have been changed. And whoever came up with that, that probably came from some racist booker who was running WCW at the time. And I think I have an idea of who it was, and I'm going to talk about him in a different episode, who was an outright racist. And you could tell from when he did his promos on TV, and the only reason why he hired black wrestlers back then, because he knew they could make money. Now let's get back to quote unquote the script. So check this out. So it was changed. Their name was changed due to racial sensitivity to the ring and wrist and foot shackles. Harlem Heat debuted on WCW television by defeating local wrestlers Dave Hart and Mike Thor on the August 14 episode of Worldwide. On the August 21 episode of Saturday Night, Harlem Heat became villains by teaming with Sid Vicious to defeat Ron Simmons, Too Cold Scorpio, and Marcus Alexander Bagwell in a six-man tag team match. Harlem Heat made their pay-per-view debut at Fall Brawl on September 19 by teaming with Vader and Sid Vicious against Sting, Davey Boy Smith and Dustin Rhodes, and the Shockmaster in the War Games match. And the Shockmaster in the War Games match, they lost the match, but were over as villains because of the caliber of fan favorites they wrestled. Harlem Heat suffered their first televised loss in WCW against Sting and Dustin Rhodes on the September 25 episode of Saturday Night. Shortly after, Harlem Heat ended their association with Colonel Robert Parker the following month as Halloween Havoc. Harlem Heat teamed with the Equalizer against the Shockmaster, Ice Train, and Charlie Norris in a losing effort. At Battle Bowl, Kane was randomly partnered with Charlie Norris in a lethal lottery qualifying match against Big Van Vader and Cactus Jack. In a losing effort, Kane was partnered with Davey Boy Smith against Road Warrior Hawk and Rip Rogers in a losing effort. At Super Bowl IV on February 20, 1994, Harlem Heat defeated Thunder and Lightning. Shortly after, Harlem Heat engaged in a feud with Marcus Alexander Bagwell and Too Cold Scorpio, which led to the two teams exchanging wins with one another. Harlem Heat were soon joined by Ron Simmons, while Ice Train joined Bagwell and Scorpio. Both teams traded wins in six-man tag team matches. In July, Cole and Kane changed their names back to Booker T and Stevie Ray. In part two, I'll talk about how Harlem Heat from the year of 1994 to 1994 to 1996, when they became the World Tag Team Champions with a brand new manager and a brand new look. For Black Wrestling News, I'm Todd Tanner.